If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And now we got Bill O'Reilly calling in, I understand. You want to bring him in?
Sure. We got Bill O'Reilly, of course, the great nonfiction author, great host. Bill, your thoughts about this historic, incredible moment?
Well, you know, I wrote the book Confronting Evil with the Ayatollah on the cover. And the theme of the book is that you've got to deal with these evil people who murder at will. And if you don't, then you get worse atrocities, which is what we've seen. I don't know what the outcome is going to be as far as the Iranian government is concerned. That's impossible to know right now. What surprised me are a few things. Number one, the Iranian military is pretty much impotent. They can lob some missiles here and there, but they have no air force. They have no Navy. They have no capacity to really defend themselves. And for a nation of 90 million that's, you know, aided by Russia and China to have no defense capabilities at all, that's pretty stunning. And, you know, they are bellicose. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Well, they're not going to do anything because they can't. If they could, they already would have done it. So that's number one. And then back home, it's the usual suspects. Kamala Harris caught my eye. Did you hear what she said?
Yes, I did. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. So she said that all Americans should condemn this action. And I'm sitting there going, well, under 4 years under Biden, you're vice president. I'm searching now to try to find out if she had made one statement about Iran in 4 years. She didn't make any statements about the open border. And so I'm going, you know, under your watch, this nation killed hundreds of thousands of people. And what are you talking about? Your appeasement and negotiations failed. They failed. And you remember that began under John Kerry and Barack Obama, where they United States unfroze billions of dollars, went into the mullahs, and the mullahs turned around and gave a lot of that money to Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis to kill people. That's what happened.
Yep.
So the two previous administrations botched it entirely. And then during Trump's first one, he had to wipe out ISIS, and he got Soleimani, the head of the Revolutionary Guards, got him. Okay, so at least he was in the game. But the Biden-Harris administration wasn't even there. And then you listen to the director of the United Nations, who condemned the action and said, well, negotiations. Well, how long are you going to negotiate with these people? In 1979 this started. And this guy's, negotiations. You know, that's basically cowardice. You know what that is. And then the Pope, and he's the only one I give a pass to, because his job is to save lives. I mean, that's his job, not to be a political person. But the Pope comes out and says, well, you know, we have to have constructive conversation. Look, the mullahs just killed, and my number is 40,000 of their own people in the last week. Did the Pope miss that? That's 40,000 human beings that are dead because their own government killed them. So it doesn't stack up. And this is going to be another horrendous defeat after the smoke clears, pardon the pun, for the Democratic Party, because all it does is object to every single thing President Trump does. So what's the Democratic Party's solution to this that's been going on for decades? They don't have a solution. There's nothing. Well, War Powers Act. The United States has not declared war since World War II. Did you know that? Vietnam, Korea, those were not declared wars. And every single federal court that's dealt with it has ruled if the president has the authority to protect the country, if national security is in play. And when you have a rogue nation that's trying to develop a nuclear weapon, I think that's national security. Wouldn't everybody agree with that?
Everybody with common sense.
So the Democrats now find themselves objecting again. They object to the immigration roundup. They object to everything, but they have no solutions whatsoever. And that's got to hurt them in November.
Yeah, you know, one of the other names, too, that stood out to me, Bill, was Senator Tim Kaine. He called it an invasion of Iran. Like, why are we doing this? To me, you're right. This rhetoric I find it really reprehensible at a time where the history is very clear about the Ayatollahs and what they have done.
Well, Kaine, who ran with Hillary Clinton as vice president, is a loon. But I'm surprised that the guy in Arizona who continues to do this stuff, he obviously wants to run for president, as does Kamala Harris. That's why she made the statement. But Kaine is way, way out there now. He's in Mandani territory now. Bernie Sanders territory. You haven't heard Bernie say a word at all. And I'm not quite sure why he's so silent. But the American people, you know, initially, unfortunately, we have a lot of bubble people. And they don't know what's happening. They don't know Iran from Iraq or from Oman. They don't know anything. And when something like this happens, and the media, of course, spins it against Trump, which they did, then the people go, oh, it's got to be bad. It's got to be bad. But when it's laid out, and I do believe that there is going to be a change of government in Iran because Trump and Netanyahu can't go back to the way it was. They can't. It's impossible. So something's got to change there, and it'll probably be along the Venezuelan model. They'll put some people in there that'll do what America wants them to do.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be interesting, like what comes next. That's the big issue.
That's an impossible question, but that's all the television media. What comes next? Well, we don't know.
Yeah, it's way too early.
Yeah, what we do know is that China hasn't said a word, and the reason is that they know it's a lost cause. Beijing knows it's a lost cause. So what they're trying to do is replace their oil stocks, which Trump will help them with. Putin said some stupid thing about violation of international law.
Oh, I know.
You know, it's a cartoon.
I saw that, Bill. I was laughing, too.
You know, they should cancel The Simpsons and put the Putins. That's a cartoon.
Judge Weinberg.
Bill, let me ask you your thoughts about the isolationist wing, the so-called base of the Republican Party, which is criticizing Trump for going into this military activity. They say he's betrayed his base. What are your thoughts about the isolationists amongst the Republicans?
Well, there are only 8 of them, I think. It's Tucker Carlson and 7 others, right?
I hope, but that's what it's limited to.
You know, that's the only thing that the far right and the far left have in common is the isolation. That's it.
And how do you stay an isolationist in a very dangerous world if you want to maintain national security and protect your people?
That's a good question that'll never be answered because when you're an extremist, and that's what these people are, obviously, you don't have to answer the questions in your own mind. Extremists take up a cause, and I'm not going to assign motives to the far right isolationists because I don't know. I think they're all different. Some of them hate Jews. Some of them think Israel is the problem. You know, some of them are sympathetic to the Palestinians. In Ireland is a big, big crew, very sympathetic to the Palestinians. All socialist communists, by the way. The Irish who back Hamas, all of them are Marxists. Very interesting linkage there. But for American and the far right, there's not a collective groupthink like there is on the far left. Far left wants socialism. They want certain things. You don't have that on the far right. It's all different. And a lot of it is Israel's the problem in the world.
Well, Bill O'Reilly, I guess we take 1 hour at a time. I used to say 1 day at a time, but lately I'm saying 1 hour at a time.
1 minute with Trump.
Yeah.
Bill, thank you so much. And boy, what interesting times we're living in.
I want to make one more point for the WABC
sure.
that I haven't addressed this with. I talked to President Trump 3 weeks ago about this, and I had a lengthy conversation on the phone with him. And he did not want to do this military action. And one of the reasons that he called me was he wanted to say, what do you think I can get? What kind of a deal do you think I can get? He respects my opinion in these matters. And I said, I don't think you're going to get a deal with them because their whole identity is tied into hating America and Israel. And if they make a deal, they look weak. And so I don't think you're going to. He goes, well, I got to try. And I said, yes, absolutely.
Well, what they're doing right now is the Iranians traditionally delay. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that they'll get a Democratic Congress in November and they can do whatever they want to do again. And that's what traditionally that's what they're doing right now. Right.
Well, there was intel that came out that said they were really feverishly working on a low-level nuclear device. That's what got his attention, Trump's attention. And that, I mean, it's all classified. I can't back it up, but I know that there was a lab inside Iran that was really working around the clock to get this thing operational. And once that intel was delivered to President Trump, then it became urgent. And that's what happened. Because a low level, you could take out half a city with that.
Yeah, and they would use it. That's the frightening
thing. That's the problem. That's 100%. Why President Trump said, no way are we ever going to allow them to get a nuclear weapon.
And listen, I commend him for trying, Bill. I commend him for, looking at negotiations.
I can say, listen, absolutely, he did not want to unleash the military. He wanted, just like Maduro, the same thing. Told Maduro, you take your $200 million and your family, get the deuce out of there.
Yeah, go to Moscow. He'd be celebrating in Moscow. All he had to do is split the $200 million with Putin.
Yeah, and Maduro gave him the finger, and he'll never see a light of freedom again.
Yes.
And I guess the mullahs are conversing with Allah even as we speak.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Bill O'Reilly.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your common sense.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.